Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Natoli, and I'm really excited to be here with a woman named Wendi Johnson. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm so
Yay.
honored to be here.
Well, I just am really excited to hear your story. Wendi is someone who took a program that I offered called the 40-Day Program, and it was a program that I came up with a couple years ago. And I really just wanted to take what I considered the major themes of A Course in Miracles and put them into a very simple program. I sent out a video and an email every day with some practices. And I really wanted to just have people say yes to a new way of living. I know that that's how transformation happened in my own life, where I just said, yes, I'm ready for something new to happen. And that's what Jesus did. And I chose the 40 days because of his journey in the desert, where he just said, okay, enough with my old life. And I'm just going to be in this new space and allow something new to occur. And that's what the 40-day program really is. And Wendi took this program, and I just love your messages during that time. And I would love for you to share your story, because at the very end of the program, you said that before the program started, you had been diagnosed with a throat tumor, and that during the program, you decided to really do the work that was being offered, and you took responsibility. You realized that you had caused it. You didn't know why, but you just were dedicated to removing those blocks and obstacles in your mind and not dealing on the physical level. So I would just love if you can just jump in and just tell us a little bit about yourself, and you can just start wherever you feel you would like, just about your story.
Thank you. My story is kind of long and complicated. I'm trying to figure out some of the stuff is my mom. A lot of my issues with finding my voice and being connected and taking responsibility for myself and for my own healing and who I am really resonated in the 40-day program. Getting connected to God and to my source and to finding how I am taking part and parcel to who I am. And through that journey, a lot of discovery happened. I found the 40-day program from my best friend, Dennis. He said, you've got to take this because we've been on a journey for a while. And I had done the Course in Miracles for 2 years, and I'd read the lessons every day. But it wasn't until I started taking that program that I actually said, now I'm going to really apply it rather than just reading the lessons every day and kind of going, how is this making things better? As a child, my father left when I was 3. He was alcoholic, and I was I'm a big person in general, but a lot of it came from this idea, and I discovered this through the 40-day program, that I had this deep knowing within myself that I was not wanted. My mother always told a story when I was a little girl that she tried to miscarry me before. She would tell me, oh, well, I tried to miscarry you, and I went horseback riding when I first found out I was pregnant, and I kept horseback riding, but you wouldn't miscarry. So, and that was meant to be some kind of fun thing. But when I had said this to a friend, she thought that was a little bit odd and twisted. And through, I just kind of have spent a lot of time where, even though I'm a loud person and I'm a theater person and I'm a big person, I'm 6 foot tall, and I weigh 200 pounds, and I'm a big gregarious person. But I never would speak my voice. I would never speak my truth. So somebody would ask me a question, and they would say, well, you would tell me the truth, right? And honestly, I would not. I would not tell them, because I had so much fear of abandonment. My father left when I was 3 and abandoned me. My grandfather died, and that felt like an abandonment when I was 3. So I had all this loss at the same age of 3. And then because my dad left, we went on this. I had to be put into daycare quite a lot from when I was little. My mom worked crazy hours. She was a nurse. And I spent a lot of my time in daycare and in places that were not safe. And I never felt like I could tell my mother anything. That if I told her she would go away too. I felt very much like I need to sit in a corner and just do as I'm told and be a good girl. And so I was raised this way, and a lot of abuse, mental, physical, and sexual abuse happened to me. And it was I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell anybody. And through my life, I've done a lot of things, including getting pregnant in high school and having 2 kids by 19. And trying to put myself through school in order to be a good girl. And I started on the journey of trying to find myself. And the Course in Miracles was like a natural place for me to go. Through all of this time, I had done a lot of self-damage to myself. There was a lot of loathing, a lot of self-loathing to myself and hurting myself in order to get rid of that pain. And I had gone through therapy and group therapy and AA and all those different 12-step programs, but it was finding my spiritual self that was able to lead me on a path. And I believe everything happens for a reason. And finding your 40-day program is just, and it's continued. I'm going to take it again, by the way. It's just continued to help me open up my spirit in so many different ways. I had this vocal issue that happened to me. Is just a heaping up of all kinds of what I thought I was healed. You know, it's like you go through this process and journeying through your life where you feel like, oh, I'm good, I'm okay, everything's great. And then you realize, something's really happened. Where I haven't gotten far enough. You just keep digging deeper and deeper, you know, as you go through a journey. And I'm an actress, and I was in a play, and the director happened to remind me a lot of my father. He was very rude and demoralizing. And in the process of that production, I had ruptured my vocal cords. And being the person that I am, rather than going to the doctor, I just kind of kept going and kept going and kept pushing and pushing. And then I was in another thing, and I ruptured it again. And I had bruising and bleeding in there, and I just kept going and going. Finally, I lost my voice. Like, it got so bad. Now I identify myself with my voice. It is because now I know, after going through this deep program and continuing to work afterwards and through, I know that my voice and my size were all created in order so that I would not get lost, that I created this entire persona so that my mother would see me and that I would not be abandoned completely or disintegrate. I felt often like I would just fall through cracks and that nobody would remember that I was there. So I have spent a lot of time trying to find who I am. And in this case, this laryngitis got worse and worse. And when the doctor told me, I finally got into the doctor, and when she told me that I have this tumor on my vocal cords, it was devastating. Because, first of all, I had gone in there just thinking I had nodules, and it was just, she was so grim, and it was so devastating, and I was all alone, and they didn't think I could have therapy. They just were going to start surgery in the beginning of July. And I was devastated because there's a chance that you'll never get your voice back, that you'll never have any kind of, the healing was going to be an 18-month healing process in addition to not being able to speak for 3 weeks. And it was just a whole identity thing for me. So I had done that before. I had gotten that diagnosis before I started the 40-day program. And it's kind of like this falling on the knees, you know, hands to God, and I'm surrendering kind of situation. And I don't know what else to do. When I got into the program, I decided I was going to delve into it 150,000% in writing. And praying and continuing to do my lessons in the course, and continuing and enriching my program through writing and visualization, and imagining, like you said, that I am light, that I am, that there is light, that I am the light of God, that there, all of the things that are in the Course, and really envisioning the healing within myself, and really envisioning and spending a lot of time envisioning and re-looking at how I'm addressing people. And I had discovered that I just don't really speak, especially people like my boss, who's scary, or anybody who reminds me of my father, or anyone who reminds me of my mother. I have a really hard time telling them the truth, or they'll say something and attack, and I will not speak up for myself, or would not. I do now. I've been doing a lot.
I was just gonna catch you on that. I was gonna say, you do or you did?
I did. It was a did, because now I'm speaking up so much. I speak up for everything. I'm kind of almost in a pest kind of situation, but I feel that way, but that's still me working through. I'm actually asking for what I need to be healthy, and what I need to speak my truth, and to do so that I can live my life to the best, so that I can give what I am here to give.
Did you notice a point when there was a shift? Like, did it happen like right when you got in the program, when you made a commitment that you were going to give 150,000%, or was there a point when you actually felt that you were light, that the tumor was gone? That, like, what happened exactly?
Well, what happened exactly is, like, at the beginning, the very thing that really hit me was the default switch that you talked about, and that helped me with some eating disorder stuff. And I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. I've never thought or realized this. It was like an opening up of doors. And I had the default switch thing, and I went, oh my goodness. And I wrote my friend, and I was like, I've never thought of it this way. And this is exactly what I'm doing to myself. And that started it. And then the next, it continued on, and it just kept, like, it's hard to explain. I felt very centered and connected to my source. It feels tingly, and it felt that way sometimes and I feel like that more and more every single day in general. But I felt like I was not in this world, but not of this world. Like, I'm like here, but I'm not. And I was very focused on visualization and writing and being love, and being in the moment of love, and being love, and being loving awareness, and being connected always. I did a lot of there's nothing my holiness cannot do. I kept doing that over and over again, and seeing that and feeling very connected. And I had come that I was going to be on this journey, whatever it was. So what you had said, I'm going to be on this journey. I'm going to be centered in this journey. Whatever the doctors say, I'm going to actually do this for myself, because I'm also tend to be the one that doesn't go to the doctor. And I break a foot, I'm fine, I'll just wrap it, because I don't want to make anybody upset. I don't want to make them feel like they have to do anything for me, which comes directly from my childhood. And I never realized that until it was like this huge aha epiphany with I just sat there and I went, oh my goodness. Now, I'd had breakfast with and it kept coming up to me, because I had breakfast with my best friend. He was like, you haven't found your voice. And he said this before that lesson. And he kept saying things like, you haven't found your voice. And somebody else said something, and I went, whoa. And then the lesson came up, and I was like, whoa. And I thought, well, maybe this is what this is. Maybe this is what this is. And I started changing everything. And then I went to the doctor on July 2nd. So I was not quite done with the program. And she was in shock. Like, she had a special person there, because she had told me, I don't think that there is any way therapy was going to work. And apparently this doctor was not that kind of doctor. She always wanted to send people to therapy first. And to have her say that to me, it was just like, well, I was sobbing. To have her just like, it's gone. You see, she showed me the picture. They do this thing where they put the scope down your throat and you say ease and ahs. And she just showed me the picture. She's like, your vocal cords, my vocal cords would not come together because the tumor was so large. So I couldn't do higher registers. And I could only do low registers, and I could only do a whisper. And I could do the registers. It all come together. She's like, this is shrinking. It's getting smaller. she's like, I don't think you're going to need surgery. And I said, well, like for a while? And she said, no, I don't think ever. And I was like, what? Like, what? I kept, what? I was like, oh my goodness. Like it was definitely not what I expected. And it was a moment of tingly awareness that the healing I was doing spiritually and the healing that I was doing emotionally and the healing that was coming through the work that I was doing was making a difference, not just mentally, but physically. I'm still in I still have to go to physical therapy and I'm still working on my voice is a little raspy, but the tumor is completely diminished and I can do high registers and it's pretty amazing.
I love it because the thing is I've always known that this is true and that when someone shifts so completely to this truth of who they are as spirit and they're not mixing the levels anymore of worrying about the body or trying to heal anything, you're just being who you are, who God created as light and joy and love. And then what happens is any fear that's there starts to come up. So it starts to come to the surface. And what I love about A Course in Miracles is now we have a practice called forgiveness where you can just start releasing those blocks. You can start really saying, okay, this is the work that I'm doing. And what's happened in the 40-day program is when I first offered it, I didn't think anyone was ever going to take it. I just thought, okay, this is just something that's deep in my heart, and I just want to offer it with love. And that first one, I think, had 300 people that had taken it. And now 6,000 people have taken it. And I keep hearing stories like yours. Like there was another woman in the program who was in hospice dying. And during the 40-day program, one of the days was pick up your bed and walk. And she did it. She said, I'm done with hospice. And she walked out of hospice. And she's totally alive. She was completely healed. And so, when I got your email and I realized it's happening, it's not because of anything that's in the program, it's your dedication to shift. I know that that's the truth, that you said, okay, I'm going to live and I'm going to just do the work. And it sounds like you weren't even focused on the physical healing.
Not physical healing. It was all spiritual. It was all releasing and forgiving, a lot of time forgiving, a lot of cutting the cords of pain and being in a state of love and joy, seeing myself as light, of seeing my mother as light. My mother passed away 14 years ago. So seeing her and hugging her and loving her and forgiving her and doing the same thing with my father in an envisioning kind of situation, the power within it is really, truly, Lisa, when I was young, I had no friends. I was a very bitter, very angry person who would rather beat you up than have you. I had walls up that were thicker than a castle and very few people could get in. And since working the Course in Miracles, and I want to say I'm a theater artist. I had actors who hated my guts. It was really kind of hard to work with me because I just was very clippy and mean and rude. And now just the way people react to me, I find appreciation and love, that it's residual, it comes back. And I keep seeing evidence of that love and joy heal yourself, and it heals the world in so many ways. And so I give it out, and I'm not ashamed, and I'm not abased. I tell my students, I'm in high school, public high school, and I tell them I love them. I tell them all the time. They say not to, but it's truth. I do love them, and I care for them, and I care for all the people in my family and my life. And it's because of your teachings and because of the Course in Miracles, and just to have people I've worked with recently, your love, your dedication, your passion, your joy, makes it so that I feel that way. So it spreads. And so your message is spreading out to me and then to whoever and constant. And it's, and we're going to, change the world and make it a world full of joy and love and peace. And it's just, I can't even express the difference in who I am. Wow, and not just physically, but in every part of me, heart and soul.
I love it. I was just talking to my husband, Bill, before I came on the call tonight, and I was saying to him, the world is going to change very quickly from now on because people are going to know that they're doing it to themselves. They're going to realize any suffering, any sickness, any sadness, all guilt, you're doing it to yourself. And when you know that you're doing it to yourself and that it's causing literally physical symptoms and problems, you're going to stop doing it. And I was saying to him, it's like, I can't even remember what it was like to live the other way. Like, I can't remember anymore what it was like to live in fear.
Wow.
And so I'm just grateful just to have you share your story. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the letter that you wrote. Because it's just so great. You said, why this tumor? What is your body telling you? I discovered my outer me. My ego created me as all survival to protect the little girl who was hurt so completely and had no control. I had no voice, so my ego created the illusion of hugeness to protect her. It worked for many years. I have been in various forms of recovery for over 26 years. I have become a truly happy person with a mission to inspire joy and love in all I meet. But still, this deep core pain body was not available to me until I began and worked this program. Yesterday I went and the doctor told me the tumor is gone, as well as the reactive lesion. She was astounded and so am I. I have moved from definite surgery to therapy and possibly no surgery. I have heard of such things, but wow. I have found my true voice. I have hugged and loved and forgiven. I have dug deep into my core pain. I am not needing to fill up emptiness in food because truly I am filled with God. I can speak in a normal tone without fear of being lost or ignored or left behind. Getting chills. I can speak for myself when a person is bullying me, in quotes, because you know they're not bullying you anymore. I speak my truth. I have my 48th birthday next week. I am excited to see where this next chapter leads. I am lighter and happier than I have ever been. I want to spread happiness and love to all I encounter. I brim with joy. I brim with love. I brim with deep gratitude. I brim with compassion. Thank you so much. Namaste.
No.
That's a good letter. I was happy to receive it.
That was definitely God inspired.
What would you say to somebody who's in a situation like you were in? And what would you say to them? What would be the first thing they should do?
They should love themselves. That truth, to know that they are worthy. It's. I know when you're in it, it's so hard. Take your program. Start reading the Course in Miracles. It matters. It's not denominational, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't infiltrate who you. It doesn't make you feel like oh, they're pushing religion on me. It doesn't feel like that ever. To begin the journey, to take one step forward, and to trust that it's going to be good and well and awesome because they are awesome and amazing and full of light, that we can see it in them, that I see that potential and know that truth in every person I meet. So it's in them as it is in all of us, and that's true, and that to start it, to just begin that healing and not worry about failing or any of that, but to know the truth of, to seek out the love that's theirs, that's their right and their desire, what they deserve to have, because they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Everybody's so different, but definitely start with your course, and to go into the Course in Miracles one step at a time, and take one step at a time, you know, and not worry about failure, but just love themselves first. I had to love myself first. And if I didn't love myself first, I couldn't love anybody else. And I needed to do that for myself. And now it's how I live. And I don't have flack. Everybody just loves the love. So much easier to live with.
Yeah, you're gorgeous.
You're pretty darn gorgeous yourself. So I'm so honored to be here and to meet you. And if my story can help somebody, then please, I will do anything to help somebody go through and know that it's okay where they are, and that they don't have to be perfect, that it's progress, not perfection, you know, to use some of those AA things. And that works the same with the Course in Miracles, though, too, and your program. That, you know, it's progress. You do one step at a time, one day at a time, and you open yourself and be willing to trust.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's exactly. I'm so happy to hear you say that, because I've just always wanted to tell people, just be yourself, but without all the layers of fear. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to be spiritual. Don't try to be your version of what you think it looks like, because we're becoming children again. We're going back to that place now where before the fear started coming in, when we just were living life in celebration and play, and we weren't worrying about adult things. And it's incredible. You know, it really is an experience also, and that's why I just love having you here. So I want to thank you, Wendi Johnson, for being here and sharing your story. You're the light of the world, and I know a lot of people are going to be blessed by really hearing and seeing you and seeing the joy that you are. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Namaste.